Welcome.
Welcome.
Hey,
Woo.
I'm Matt.
And I'm Greg.
We're part of the bottom tier.
We totally planned this.
That was a great intro.
That was a wonderful intro. Truly the king of introductions.
Is the bottom tier.
That's what we do.
Yeah. Well, guys, this is our second ever of this series, but we had such a good time last time. We wanted to do it again, but this time we wanted to make it spooky.
Halloween
for the Halloween season. So this is our What If series where we kind of talk about what if X was in Flesh and Blood. And today we decided to pick one of our favorite movie franchises of all time, both of ours collectively. We found this out while we were brainstorming.
Which is that our mutual tastes continue to align. Guys, it's Alien.
Alien. There's a poster right there.
There is.
Right
Boom.
there. But
check out those production values.
So good. It's just a copy and paste a little bit. But Alien, amazing, by Ridley Scott. Great, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I was like, Ridley Scott, right? I just realized that Ridley Scott, weird. But yeah, it's a great franchise, but we're not talking about Xenomorphs, which is what normally we do. We're saying, what if Ripley was in Flesh and Blood?
What if Ripley was in Flesh and Blood? Really interesting sort of thought experiment, right?
I know. And it makes me excited because I feel like if there was that cataclysm that happens in Wraith and we had someone from the future kind of show up-ish, if Ripley would be the perfect example of...
I mean, really, truly, I would absolutely trust Ripley to be able to get us through basically anything.
Yeah, absolutely. So, what are your thoughts? Take it away.
Perfect. So, yeah. So, really interesting kind of thing to think about. Just sort of in general, taking characters from other franchises and putting them into
Flesh and Blood.
Flesh and Blood, exactly. But then Ripley specifically, because it's not a super clean translation from one thing to another thing.
No.
There's definitely a couple of things that Ripley could kind of fall into insofar as classes and abilities and sort of gimmicks and things like that.
Yeah.
For my money, I would, if we're establishing class and stuff first.
Yeah, class.
I went through a couple of these. I would call Ripley a mechanologist.
I think we're on the same level. Because honestly, that was my thought. Is Ripley really pairs well with an existing class mechanologist. We're not going to be doing the thing that we did with Mistborn, where we make something new.
Which we kind of had to, given the context there. But here we have a person who, by herself, maybe not the most physically intimidating person on the planet, but utilizing her resources and the technology at hand really elevates herself to be able to handle these sorts of threats.
I agree. I mean, in the movies, we can kind of see Ripley using flamethrowers, and the first one to having the giant, pretty much automotive forklift, futuristic.
Yeah, the loader bot.
Yeah, loader bot.
The big exosuit.
Bot, exosuits. So we see that, and I think that fits really well with Ripley and what that is, as some of the items they can have. I see Ripley kind of going right off the bat being you have a flamethrower as your weapon, or being have a couple different weapons of course to pick from. You could use the Technical pistol or whatever you want, but
yeah,
I think the weapon that would come with Ripley would just be yeah, you get a flamethrower. There you go.
Totally. And kind of on that, there are one or two things that I was thinking about for her unique cards or for her sort of gimmick. One of the things that I was thinking of was, what if she starts with, the big, end game sort of thing.
Yeah.
And then as you use it, it falls apart and you end up with something smaller over time, or the inverse of that. You start with something small and you build it up into something bigger.
I was thinking,
pulling items out of your deck in order to create a new weapon for yourself or something.
I was thinking that too. What if the loader bot, for example? What if the loader bot was the starting item? So Ripley's text would be you start with a loader bot, and then as you're going through, you're gonna the loader bot gets a flamethrower, the loader bot gets this, the loader bot gets that.
The second line item here, something with the loader, items that combine a la Voltron.
Yeah, I was thinking if we have the suit, you can Ripley will start with that. So maybe that, I don't know if it's a chess piece or if it's just a separate item completely that's mechanologist. And then it's just you add the different pieces to it. And it could even be a mechanic, if you boost into that item, it gets attached to, kind of like Data Doll.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So Data Doll is kind of where I started out when I was thinking about this. So really what I thought about her whole thing was we've seen sort of an expansion of allies in the game. Mm-hmm. Chain and Levia both have some. Dromai's whole thing, of course, is based around invoking dragons and summoning them. What if the loader bot actually acted as an ally? And you pull from your deck to 3 or 4 pieces of the thing. When you have all 3 or 4 of them out, you banish them and summon an ally.
Oh,
and
nice.
And you have Ripley in exosuit.
I like that.
Right?
Ooh, because all right, so this is an idea I had with that, right? Is if it's like items that are just kind of like there that are just kind of like near end game,
Yeah.
like you boost into it, you get the item, or you can place it out and no go again, right? Because I feel like you would have to do that. But if you get it out there, what if that mech suit changes something with Ripley? And so what I was thinking is like we already have the Emperor where it's like warrior and wizard. What if you have the loader bot get built, now you're a guardian and you can utilize that.
See, exactly, like literally like with the invoke cards, you just flip the hero over and it's the exosuit Ripley,
like guardian mechanologist.
Exactly, guardian mech. And then you can start playing guardian cards and stuff. It'd be a little tricky to like actually build a deck around that sort of concept.
That is true, yeah.
But if you give Ripley sort of base form, I guess, an ability that allows you to search stuff out of the deck. So each turn you like pay a couple of resources, search part of the loader bot and put it on the field or something, and then reshuffle and go on with your turn. Then you have a way to pull that stuff out. You're working towards the goal of being able to convert her into that.
Yeah.
And just kind of playing around with that. It's not like the greatest like tactical combination.
No.
But something along those lines could be really interesting, even if we didn't do like the double class or something.
Yeah.
Even if we just pulled out the pieces, built the bot, and then sort of invoked
and
Ripley,
it does
I guess.
Yeah, it does something where it's like now you have your base attack does X or something. It just boosts something.
Exactly. Yeah.
I think I prefer that because like thinking back to what I just said, like you couldn't really put guardian cards in there effectively.
It would get really awkward because
you couldn't really play them until
you'd have the first 3, 4, whatever turns, you're basically stuck with nothing. Like if you pull a full hand of guardian stuff, and you don't have the guardian typing yet, then what are you going to do? You're going to pitch for the hero ability, but then you're going to have nothing.
Right.
So.
I like that.
Right?
I like
It's not bad.
It's not bad at all.
It's not bad.
So we have that core ability of like you start with one piece and then you create it, and then there might be more. Maybe it's something where it's like if you have 2 pieces, this happens. You have 3, this. If you have full pieces, then you have like plus this, plus this, plus this. Like kind of like a boost every time, which could make sense. But that's a lot of text as well.
It is a lot of text.
I think it's a flip over.
It's a lot of floating effects to keep track of.
Yeah.
Because the last thing anybody needs is to forget to apply a card effect, and then 2 turns later, oh no, I forgot to apply this thing. We've been playing wrong this whole time.
Right.
Like that sucks.
Yeah.
So something a little bit more straightforward, I think. Like the items themselves wouldn't necessarily do much, just chilling on the field.
Yeah.
They would just be there to be in play so that you could construct the final form, basically.
Which means you can also still use the other mechanologist items too.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, a mechanologist deck entirely based around boost and things like
0
that.
to
So you'd still be boosting, you'd still be, rotary arming and rotary ramming.
Rotary ramming, yeah. I mean, that's rotary arming is cooler.
That is kind of cooler, actually. There you go, folks.
Rotary arming.
Brand new custom card today.
What new cards would we have for mechanologist?
So the big ones obviously would be like the pieces of the exosuit. Which you could use with like Dash or Data Doll or something as well if you wanted to.
Oh, that'd be cool.
It could be really interesting with Data Doll if they're items. You could like with her ability to when you banish a card.
That's true.
It comes into play if it's an item.
Yeah.
Like you could really easily like stack your deck and banish piece, banish piece, banish, like get like 3 out per turn or something.
Could you have 3 copies of each one and intentionally have 3 of them out there?
Potentially. Maybe should limit that. So maybe each piece has the legendary keyword on it, so you can only have 1 copy of it.
Like Exodia?
Like Exodia, exactly.
Oh my gosh. But I would like that how it'd
Ripley
be
the forbidden one.
Ripley, like I like how it could work with Data Doll and Dash to be able to have that same thing. But like, would we have like other cards like Game Over, man, Game Over? Like
you would have to. You'd have to have Game Over, man.
Yeah.
And it's just be like 9 cost or something.
Yeah.
Game ends in a draw. Play again or something.
Oh boy.
Complete meme card.
Oh sure, yeah.
But a hell of a lot of fun. But you'd have other stuff too. You'd have like we would have to do something with like some of the ships and stuff, like a Nostromo card or something, or there's the opportunity to do more like with the Great Library and things to have the sort of like setting cards.
Yeah.
So there'd be a lot of that kind of thing that we could bring into it, not just necessarily items and stuff, but actual like lore and world building and environmental sort of stuff.
I like
because
that.
especially the first Alien movie, which full disclosure is my favorite horror movie, is very much rooted in the atmosphere of the Nostromo, of the ship that they're trapped on.
Yeah.
If they weren't, in those tight little confines, the whole thing changes.
Right.
So something that can kind of evoke that same kind of feeling, I think,
would be really cool.
Would be phenomenal. And we already have a precedent for it in things like the Great Library. So if we end up with something like that, I think that would fit perfectly in with this concept.
I like that a lot. I also think like you could, with that, if we're focusing on a weapon, like kind of, or this main mechanologist thing, I almost think it'd be cool to have such an interesting deck where like that is the main focal point. Like you're building up to get there. You may have 1 or 2 attacks, but the other cards that you have in your deck that you could pitch stack and also utilize is like add +3 to like health or like armor to the max or whatever, just to kind of boost that guy up so it's just harder to kill every single turn for the other player.
Exactly. Yeah. Something to come in that would allow you to like fix it up. Exactly.
Yeah. I like that. Or like
replaceable battery. Or
or xenomorph toxic blade.
Right. Exactly. The xenomorph spit, and it's just the thing. Yeah.
That'd be cool, right? Now, would we try to add something with Ripley where, dare we say, like Alien 3, where Ripley's all of a sudden like, I got alien powers?
we should. We should have one thing in there.
Yeah.
Where it's just complete fever dream sort of
it's
thing.
Like, what is going on with
this?
Right,
exactly. Ripley is now a weapon herself with a base power of 7 or something.
Yeah, for sure.
If she's blocked with 3 or more equipment cards, then you lose the match or something. So you have to like take their equipment out beforehand.
I like that.
Right.
I think one thing we could do is maybe make a chest piece or an arm piece, or even you choose your probably legs. I don't know, one of those 3: legs, chest, whatever. But like
definitely not a headpiece.
Mechanics.
Those are too useful.
Mechanics belt.
Oh yeah.
Like whatever, like just something that's there to be able to be like, oh, I do this every turn to maybe repair something or put this back from the graveyard.
Or it could be as simple as like destroy mechanics belt. Next item you play costs 2 less or something like that, just to get stuff out of the hand a little faster and onto the field.
Out of whatever, go again. Maybe give it go again. If you place an item, it gets go again
or something like that. Exactly.
Yeah, that way you don't lose a turn. I like that. And this makes a whole different type of mechanologies where it's more like I am building this thing to then do things to you.
Exactly. So it's not just like an out and out aggro like you get with Dash a lot of the time. It's actually more of like a control mechanologist that you're taking your time with. Sort of like you would with a Guardian in order to build your turn until you get to the point where you can just smash straight in the face.
I like that. Now, would we have like the pieces have like HP for people to attack to try to like deflect it? Or would it just be like, you can't really attack these, you have to attack me as a hero, but it's taking me a long time to do this. So effectively, like you're almost getting like free damage unless it's just a block.
The items would just be items, I think. So there wouldn't be anything like you see with
unless you have smashing good times.
Unless you have something that specifically would break the item. Yeah. I don't think that what is it? Spectra is the keyword that exists right now for like
Prism
thing, where you can attack the spectrals.
Yeah.
I don't think we would put anything like that in there because theoretically it's taking so long to build this thing up. I think that's probably enough balancing in and of itself. And then obviously once the ally comes into play, the ally will have its own stats. But yeah, I don't think we need anything like that built into it.
I honestly, like, this would get me really, like, I feel like this would be actually a very fun, unique hero that I'd be, like, excited to play. Like, I'd be stoked. Like,
something familiar enough that you basically knew what you wanted to do, and there was a pool of cards you could play around with some different concepts and stuff, but unique enough that it's not just, oh, well, it's Dash again, whatever.
You could just totally make an aggro Ripley, no problem, for sure.
Oh, yeah,
but
100%.
Also, like, making that would be a huge part of what it is. But also, if Datadog could do that too, I like that. How it could just mix up with each mechanologist and almost change the builds of 3 different heroes.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, I like that. Well, cool. Well, I think that's a great Halloween segment. Not as spooky as we thought. Maybe there's not like there will be a xenomorph card probably. I don't think we'll have a xenomorph ally.
Probably not. No. For PvE, one of the boss encounters or whatever could be a xenomorph.
Oh yeah. Or it's a shadow summon for Leviah.
Right.
A xenomorph.
Right.
Yeah. Like There you go.
But that's next time, folks.
That'd be funny, right? All right, guys. Well, let us know what you think. Would you play Ripley? What other horror movies would you play as a flesh and blood hero? If you want to see more content like that, make sure to leave us a like and subscribe. And as always, I'm Matt.
And I'm Greg. Thank you so much for being here, guys.
Bottoms up.
Bottoms up.